Hey guys, Madness80 back with another action figure video game video. I love video games. I used to be a bigger gamer than I was toy collector, and then you get old and you run out of time and you have kids, and that's that you become a gamer for very few games. Borderlands 3, however, my hype is real. I love Borderlands. In front of us, we have two figures from Borderlands 2, Lilith on the left, Psycho in the middle, and one Borderlands 3 figure, Tiny Tina, all grown up, there on the right. This, of course, is in addition to previously released McFarlane Borderlands figures that included Claptrap, a deluxe Claptrap figure, Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2, Handsome Jack, Krieg, Zero, and I think that is it. NECA also took a stab at Borderlands. They came out with a ton of different colored Claptraps and a Psycho, and I believe that was it. I believe they had Salvatore planned. Salvatore or Salvador? Remind me in the comments, it's been a minute. But yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Vault Hunter figures. I'm hoping McFarlane will fix that, and we can get more besides Lilith, who wasn't a Vault Hunter, or hasn't been a Vault Hunter since Borderlands 1. Playable character, I mean. But I'm excited for these figures. I think they look great, and I can't wait to dive in. So let's do that right now. All right, doesn't this look awesome? I think this looks fantastic, man. Up close and personal, the Psycho from Borderlands. My only complaint is that mask is a little too dingy. Now, if you went to E3, Comic-Con, you probably got these. I would have preferred a cleaner white mask. I think that would have looked better, but you know what, McFarlane? I am all for variants or multiple releases of this guy with either different weapons, cleaner mask, different blood splatter on him. I wouldn't mind army building some Psychos here. This guy is rad. So, as I mentioned, NECA did a version. Mine is in storage somewhere. I'm not about to dig that up. It was hard enough finding Psycho, Handsome Jack, sorry, and Tiny Tina, but man, this guy's great. Each figure in this wave, like all previous Borderlands figures, came with a flat Borderlands stand. Now, previous versions came with those thick, about, was it like almost an inch thick Borderlands stand, but these standard flat black plastic with a peg. Each figure comes with a peg hole on the bottom of their foot, usually their right foot. So let's admire the detail of this guy. So again, back up close. Dirty Psycho mask. This looks great though. Man, his whole head is filthy. I mean, even, you know, they have shaved heads. Ears are filthy, way filthier than his neck. There's not even a transition from filth to, I wouldn't say clean, but this color, this flesh color. You got black lines to kind of simulate the cell. Is it cell shading still? I don't know if cell shading is the appropriate word, but we'll say that for now. The cell shading of Borderlands aesthetic since Borderlands 1, which was a great choice. I'm glad they went with that. It really made the game pop and stand out. The game is fantastic. If you've never played a Borderlands, the Handsome Collection is usually like cheap, 10 bucks, and that includes Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, which takes place before Borderlands 2. Borderlands 1 was actually just re-released on current consoles as an HD release, so that's also worth checking out. The grind is real in that one though. It is fun with friends, but it's also very much enjoyable solo. Different Vault Hunters, usually 4 to choose from, with at least 2 DLC characters in the future. So Borderlands 3 will release with 4 new characters. There's a siren in every one. I'm trying to think what else I can say, but there will be very likely some DLC characters down the road. Now, back to Psycho, sorry, Borderlands 3 hype is real, guys. We got some blood splatter on his chest. It looks awesome. That goes under his diaphragm. They're on his belly. They're on his collarbone. You got some dirty bandages there on the bicep. We got some brass knuckles there on the fist. Take a look at his weapon. I bet you can hear I had my Xbox on. Oops, I took his fist off. Someone signed on, or I got an ill-timed achievement. Let me take the weapon out of the hand first. Get this back in. As you can see, he didn't come with extra hands, so This popped off surprisingly easily. Maybe, again, there's a deluxe Psycho down the line. Hear that, McFarlane? Let's get more Psychos. It is refreshing to see the detail on this belt. We got these grenade canisters. They're painted. They're weathered. We got this chain, this belt chain. We got the buckles. We got the loops colored. And we got some just like a wash over the belt as well. Awesome. Prison pants. I don't know what they are. They're orange. It's kind of standard Psycho wear. Looking great. Still lines in here to highlight the, or simulate or mimic the cell shading of the game. He did come with this knife accessory, which plugs right into that peg hole on his left leg there. It is just that. It is just a knife accessory. There is no knife. It's sheathed, so there is no knife he can put in his hand. He does only have, like I mentioned, he doesn't come with multiple hands. So he has a fisted hand here, which, you know, the peg, the joint is on the wrist, so the wrist doesn't rotate, the hand rotates. And yeah, so another fist, dog outside barking, geez. Saturday morning, just not a time to record, but I'm doing it anyway. Thank you for your patience. Folded cuffs there at the boots. Knee pads look great. Back to shoes, looking awesome. Painted black soles. Fantastic figure, man. Look at those blue eyes, the glow. And as I mentioned, very similar look. McFarlane did an excellent job with this Psycho figure. We almost knocked down Tiny Tina. Thank you to Sean Solo, by the way. He loaned me his Tiny Tina. I was only able to pick up Lilith and Psycho for now because I bought those TMNT packs. And I didn't want to waste all my money. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's dive in on this dude's articulation. All right, taking a look at Psycho's articulation. Full rotation. Left, right, up, some up, down, and that's due to a dumbbell. Mine has a weird fungus on there. Why is this so chewed up? Anyway, I apologize if you hear dogs barking. Saturday morning, dogs like to come out and play. What can I do? I'm not going to tell him to shut up. You know, he sounds like he's having fun. Anyway, back to the head. Again, left, right. Full 360, actually. The up, not too much. You can assist that with the diaphragm. We'll get into the diaphragm after. Great down. Tilt. Tilt. This type of joint maintains the aesthetics of the neck. It looks great. So there's zero hinge on the neck. Focusing on arms. Ball jointed shoulders up that far. Full 360 rotation. Again, up that far. You can see he has a weird little rigid. That's standard McFarlane fare. But if you want him to, I don't know, dive, take a dive or something. His hands do go up pretty far. Great range on these shoulders. And it helps that he doesn't have any armor or anything hindering that movement. Both arms have bicep cuts. Looking great. Full 360 rotation there. McFarlane Toys always sound like they're noisy, you know what I mean? But again, I'm very happy with this figure, as if you can't tell. Single jointed elbow, which is kind of hindered by the type of forearm that's there. So depending on where you bend it, you only get so much range. So if I twist that there, obviously I'm getting less range. Twist it there. I don't know why I would do that, but again, pretty good. Now it's a different sculpt here. You got the bandages and a different type of forearm, a thicker. This looks like a little bandage stuff. This looks like a piece of leather. You can see the little ridge joint there. So yeah, not too much elbow articulation. But I think it's fine. He doesn't necessarily, you know, I mean, some psychos in game obviously have long range weapons. This one doesn't, so how you pose him, I think he'll come out all right. So as I mentioned, the peg and the joint are like attached to the forearm. This is a little strange. I'm not used to that. I'm used to the pegs being a part of the hands from other figures. I guess it isn't strange if you're a McFarlane collector, but it allows you to get whatever motion and range you want. So it's actually kind of cool, man. It's pretty ingenious. Same goes for this hand. The joint and the peg, the hinge and the peg are a part of the forearm, so you can get whatever range of motion you want out of that hand, and it looks good. Moving on to his torso. So he has a diaphragm joint, pretty decent back. I'm almost literally looking into the figure. I mean, when I look at it to the side, it's not, you know, it's not very dramatic. I can't bend that way, so I don't know why you would want that out of a figure. Only that far down. I could definitely bend farther than that. It's kind of a bummer. Abs are in the way, ribs are in the way. It's a solid sculpt. So you do get, you know, in addition to the diaphragm twisting left and right, you do also get a waist swivel. As for hips, they have that weird gaping gap, but look how far out that is. Kind of unnecessary and ridiculous, but it is awesome. Forward that far, at least with that leg. Not too far forward. Back, okay amount. The pants get a little poofy there because of the strap here. So this one technically should go back farther, right? I don't know. It seems like this plastic's a little pliable. Yeah, this waist piece, this hip piece, or whatever that is a little pliable. But yeah, that much range. Zero thigh cut, as you can see. Again, McFarlane likely to keep the aesthetic. And again, it's fine. I think it's fine with this figure and this character. Onto the knees, single jointed. You get that much range, so you can get a Psycho on his knees. Kind of being crazy. There you go. They look good. At the knees are also a hinge though. So kind of makes up for the lack of a thigh. Again, it's likely to keep the pants looking pretty clean, but you know what I mean. Maintain the sculpt and the wrinkles there. Awesome. Feet, yes, they look hindered. I mean, oh, I just took that off. So we know it's on a ball. So we know we're only, if this cuff was in here, we would get a rotation similar to the head. So with that, I mean, you're just completely hindered. So you're not going to really get a great pivot, a great forward, a great back out of it. Again, aesthetics remain. It's kind of a McFarlane thing. Not necessarily what we're seeing with this Fortnite stuff, which, you know, this figure would have benefited greatly from that articulation. But for what it is and who he is and the poses I can get, you know, I played with this figure before this video and I'm still pretty happy with it. Normally I'd be a little upset, you know, like some of the Overwatch characters lack articulation and a completely different company. But, you know, I can't even get them into poses that they do in the game. So, I don't know. Psycho's weapon here is this kind of like axe mallet thing with this saw blade, which does rotate similar to Krieg. If you have Krieg, his is like a giant, freaky, crazy, beefed out one. So it looks like there's some old blood splatter on there. The way it is painted, really nice, man. The metals look like metal. You know, the parts that aren't metal look great. I mean, a lot of popping. Look at that screw. You can even differentiate the screw. Awesome. This is a great piece. Fits in his hand. Very nice. So here's Psycho next to his wave mates without a stand. I think he's posed pretty decently for what he is. Again, Psychos, especially those with short range weapons or weapons that, you know, mallets, clubs, bats, this stuff. This is how they run at you. You know, they yell, they run, and he looks like he's going to take a swing at you. I think this looks great. And again, for what the articulation is and for what McFarlane is known for, I think the range of motion on this figure is awesome. And he looks great too. So they did both. They kept the aesthetics clean. They kept it looking true to the source material and gave him enough articulation for some decent fun posing and playability for your action figure photography. And here he is next to a couple other Borderlands 2 figures previously released. A couple years ago, the Handsome Jack there on the right. You could see his articulation isn't anywhere near the Psychos. And Krieg, who came out, I think, earlier this year, looking much cleaner than this Psycho, but still awesome, fun, playable DLC character for Borderlands 2. looking, God, man, these guys all look great together. Here's the Psycho with another McFarlane video game figure, that Titan from Destiny and Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2. We'll take a look at her next to her modern Borderlands 3 counterpart. And here's a Psycho with a couple of Hasbro video game figures, Golden Soldier 76 and Hanzo from Overwatch. So we know McFarlane scales a little taller, 7-inch figures compared to the 6-inch that Hasbro pumps out. But I love video games. Here are some more video game figures. And circling back to McFarlane Toys, McFarlane Toys Fortnite Drift there on our right, and Rabbit Raider from Jazzwares, smaller 6-inch, true 6-inch scale there on the left. At this point, are you even an action figure collector if you don't have a Rabbit Raider in your collection, right? Moving on from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3, Tiny Tina. Now this is the second Tiny Tina we've received from McFarlane. This one again from Borderlands 3. The other release, Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2, when she was, something fell off screen, I apologize, when she was Tiny Tina. So Tiny Tina's a little more grown up in this game. I'm assuming she's an adult now. She was some crazy little kid who hooked you up with some badass weaponry. Yeah, so I don't see it, you know. Borderlands 3 isn't out, and I haven't seen much material with Tiny Tina in it, and to be fair, I haven't really looked for it. But this doesn't necessarily look like the same character grown up. You know what I mean? Regardless, still an awesome figure, awesome character. And a little Psycho mask on the older figure. But yeah, let's take a closer look at this new Tiny Tina from Borderlands 3. All right, not so Tiny Tina up close. So I think they went a little much with the bags under the eyes. If you look at her in the trailer and any promotional art, even the promotional images of this figure, she doesn't have these dark circles under her eyes. So I think that makes the figure look a little older than what she is. Nice wash through her blonde hair. These dyed pink tips could have been better. It literally looks like they just kind of like blah. You know, there's no transition from pink to blonde. Maybe I'm asking for much. This backpack is a separate piece. As you can see, I didn't plug it in all the way. Separated from her in the packaging itself. Looks like she has this awesome helmet piece here. Or helmet. I'm assuming it looks like a helmet to me. Used as a shoulder pad. Boom. On her chest. She's decked out in some sort of armor on her chest. Look at her tattoo there. I can't really make that out. Nice little heart scraped into there. You can see her undershirt, belt painted beautifully. Look at that, Dynamite is painted. I feel like if this was other toy companies, these would just be like all solid colors. Stickers, again, those would be solid colors if this was anybody else. Thank you, McFarlane, for your attention to detail. Little watch there. Gloves look great. Tiny Tina gun. I couldn't tell you what gun this was or what manufacturer it was in the game. I'm just not that hardcore, I guess. Boom, again. Extra missiles, shells in her arm. For what weapon? I don't know. She didn't come with whatever can boom out of that little bandage or little patch there. Pants looking clean, different color here. Looks great. Down to her legs. Nothing is symmetrical on this figure at all, and it's great. Rolled up pant sleeve there. Shin guard. Little Converse-like shoe with the Borderlands logo there on the side. Tie your laces, kids. You will trip and fall. Another shoe here with a little wing accessory. Still a kid at heart, this Tiny Tina, but is all grown up. So she does come with another piece. So these little rabbit ears come off. The other piece she comes with is this rabbit mask, which looks like maybe it helps her aim, helps her target her enemies. So you can see there's a slot there, goes right in, and you got a Tiny Tina bunny mask. This is awesome, man. This looks great. Look at that. Fantastic. I think in the game she actually wears this on her side. I could be wrong, or it's just a Psycho mask again. I'll have to reference the trailer or the promo art. Oh, look at that band-aid on the neck too. Awesome. Little paw tattoo on her cheek. Braid there, not painted all the way through, but that's okay. and the soles of her feet. Again, the peg holes are always in the right foot. Awesome. Tiny Tina is awesome. Definitely worthy of your purchase if you're a big Borderlands fan. Moving on to Articulation. I went ahead and took her little rabbit thing off. So she has the same type of dumbbell as the Psycho. So you get a good down, good rotation, good decent up, great down, great tiltage. Get some expressive poses out of her. And of course you can get a full rotation. Oops, I took her torso off. So you can see that. We'll revisit the diaphragm joint in a bit. As for arms, let's see. It's going to be, oh, you know what? To be fair, I think that's as far. Good Lord. Everything's just coming off. At least they're coming off and not breaking off, right? So that's welcome. So you can get full rotation. I don't believe this is hindering it. That's hindering it, which she has on that side anyway. Hindering it being articulation. But yeah, you get full rotation out of her arms. No bicep cuts on either arm. Her arms are pretty tiny, so that's okay. Oh my goodness. Seriously, every joint is popping off. So this is problematic at this point, I'd say, right? Great looking figure, but literally everything is popping off of her. So you can see it's a hinge. Sean's probably freaking out when dude's gonna watch this video and be like, what the hell? It's gonna be funny because I'm not gonna tell him. He's gonna see it in this video. Expert level of my trolling. So this one bends a little nicely. This one, again, it wants to pop out of the joint. And just like the Psycho, the peg and the hinge are on the forearm there, so you can get your bending of the hand. It looks like it's rotating too. Am I seeing things? It's just may as well, right? Oh yeah, it turns there too. Awesome. This came off again. Dude, Sean, I'm so sorry. You're gonna blame me for this, aren't you? Same thing on the other hand. I'm done bending stuff. Torso, as you saw, came off really easily, but now that I have it back on, it's rotating nicely. Again, just like the Psycho, it is a diaphragm joint on a dumbbell, which, you know, you get your tilting, you get your back, your forth. Not very much forward, decent back, and your side-to-side tilts, but full 360 rotation. And you still get your waist swivel on this figure. So for legs, oh God, please don't pop off. Let's get these arms out of the way. Just like the Psycho, these gaping joints there. Great forward, look at that. Or decent forward, rather. They use a soft plastic for the butt, so you can get some decent back. It's almost like there is no hip piece, you know, this extra piece, this butt piece comes down. It's like a flap, comes over to hide the joints. No thighs, no thigh cut, but moving on to the knees, you do get your bend and your swivel at the knees to make up for them not breaking up the mold or the sculpt of the aesthetics there. This knee, you can see it's sculpted so it can take that cuff in, but honestly, it's being hindered. It's just stopping. So I'm not going to force it again. It's not my figure. On a ball, so you get full rotation. You get your tilt, your forward, your back. It isn't hindered by anything. This foot, however, is because of the shin and the tongue, so you won't get as much up and down. But you still get your tilts and all that stuff. So there's Tiny Tina next to her wave mates, Lilith and Psycho. Tiny Tina with Krieg and Handsome Jack. Tiny Tina with Tiny Tina from Borderlands 2 and Titan from Destiny, all McFarlane here. Tiny Tina here with Golden Soldier 76 and Tracer, both from Hasbro. Again, McFarlane stuff tends to scale a little taller, 7-inch figures. And just like before, back to McFarlane Toys with a Fortnite Drift figure and a Jazzwares Fortnite Rabbit Raider figure. Bunnies, dude. Tiny Tina also comes with this bunny plush accessory, which you could see clips in onto her rather. Looking fantastic. There you go. It's adorable. I love it. Here is, and we've moved on to Lilith up close. I don't think this face really nails that Lilith look. I think Lilith has, I don't know how to describe it, a sexier face, just a meaner looking face. This is very soft. This looks gentle. But as for the rest of the figure, I think it looks fantastic, pretty good. And it's always nice to get some Vault Hunter figures. I mean, Tiny Tina twice, okay. This is Zero and Krieg, cool. But, you know, some original Vault Hunters like Mordecai, Brick, even Roland would be nice. Awesome, we have Lilith. Now let's get Borderlands 2 characters and 3 Vault Hunter characters. So, yeah, that's my minor complaint. Again, I don't think her face... We'll put a screen grab of her face right here. Yeah, I don't know. You let me know. It's a little bit of a bummer. But again, as far as the rest of the figure, though, I mean, the skin is nice and pale. Dude, where's Mad Moxie? Speaking of pale, why don't we have a Mad Moxie figure? Her runes from being a siren look fantastic. Does mine just have that paint there? It looks like it'd be a cool scar, but I think that's an error. Look at her gun. We'll take a look at her piece in a bit. This little half fur collar, painted nicely. You can tell what it is, so that's great. I love the dark lines here to show off the cell shading. Boy, people love doing yard work Saturday mornings, huh? So apologize if you hear a weed whacker going somewhere. I've closed every window and every door, but still. Moving back up to her head, I like the, see, this is like the way the Tiny Tina pink tips should have looked like, you know, just kind of a transition into her natural or unnatural hair color. I don't know her. Makeup on point. I think the eyebrows, again, could have made her look a little more meaner in the face. That's the word. A lot of rouge. Lips on point. Again, back to the runes, back to the chest, back to the top. It's cool. Little, is that a bandage or whatever it is? Gloves look nice. Hands look nice. Again, these figures are hardly ever symmetrical, so it's just, you know, detail, and it's always something to look at on each side of the figure. This torn sash, I don't even know what this is. You're just accessorizing at this point. Straps there, torn jeans. Man, that is clean, dude. Look at that. Torn there. She's got the runes all up her thigh. Knee pad, shin guards. This one being held by some red sash, red cloth, and these are strapped in. I have her on the standstill. Oh, this one's peg is actually on her left foot. How about that? Changing it up on us, McFarlane. Lilith, though, aesthetically in a nutshell, I think it's still a great looking figure. On the shelf, it's going to look fantastic. Up close, again, that's when the face bothers me. But it's still her. I love it. Her one and only accessory is this weapon. I'm sure there's some of you who can look at it and be like, that's a Mawan or whatever that brand is, which is awesome. Good for you guys. Let me know. Let me know who's the manufacturer of this gun in this game. You win no prize, but my gratitude and appreciation for your Borderland knowledge. Let's dive into Articulation. So, she is on that dumbbell, just like everybody else. Likely a smaller dumbbell like Tiny Tina, considering how thin her neck is. Full 360 rotation, rotation, tiltage. Looks good. It works for these figures, man. Arms out that far, and it's not being hindered. It just kind of stops, and I don't want to force it. Same thing here. Maybe it is being hindered, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's inside, if you know what I mean. Full rotation? Yeah, I mean, you got to get out of the way. Yeah, this is a hard piece. That's likely holding and stopping your articulation. Same thing there. Voice cracked. I don't know why I'm like old. No bicep cuts to maintain that female aesthetic. It's something we've seen with other toy companies, so it's not a big deal. But moving on to elbows, look at that. Decent range there. Decent range there. No double jointed elbows on any of these figures, or any of the previous ones, as far as I remember. Again, we get that hinge and peg being a part of... Oh, this one doesn't want to pop off easily. Being a part of that forearm, but you know, it could probably twist there at the end too. Are you any better? I like this because you could get the up down if you want, and the side to side, which is great for weapon wielding characters. Her torso, again, lack of ab crunch, but you do get a diaphragm with some decent back. Very little forward and some great side to side. Full 360 rotation too if you want it. I don't want that, I don't need that. And you can see the cut there at the waist for a twist. This is error, right? She doesn't have a scar, does she? Let me know. Thinking back, why would you know the medical history of Lilith? Anyway, she's hindered by this sash, so I don't want to force this since things have been popping off of figures, at least on Tiny Tina. Forward that much, again, hindered by this sash. Back that far. A lot more because there is no sash on that side. Again, nothing is symmetrical on these guys, and it's cool. Again, no thigh cut, but you do get a single jointed knee, which also has a swivel. So it makes up for that lack of thigh cut. Feet here are on a dumbbell, so you still get some tiltage. Very little forward. Okay back, but again, and that goes for both feet. Oh, popped it off, but you can see. Boom, boom. Ball joints everywhere. Awesome stuff, guys. So given that Lilith is a siren, which is kind of like, you know, a powered base character, it would have been nice to see some siren-like accessories, some blast or something like that. I know she goes invisible in the game, but something, you know, maybe an alternate figure with a translucent plastic for those that like that. I don't know, I'm just spitballing and thinking of what else I want. I want more Vault Hunters. That's what I want. Zero is on display at work. So is Claptrap. You know, you think I would have had Claptrap here for height comparisons and stuff, but sorry, he is part of my video game display of action figures at my desk at work. So here she is with her wave mates. Enjoy that. Here she is with Handsome Jack and Krieg. God, don't these all look awesome together? Your shelf is gonna pop. I mean, these pop. The colors are bright and gritty. See, they pulled that off. But yeah, I'm just loving them all together. We got Titan from Destiny and Tiny Tina. Again, all McFarlane action figures. You know, real quick, a little side note. I don't know how different Lilith is in Borderlands 3 aesthetically from her Borderlands 2 counterparts. So, you know, it's a little weird to me that they package these as Borderlands 2 toys or action figures. So, I don't know. We'll have to review. Check out the trailer again. I know at one point it looks like she doesn't have any runes at all, like as if she was stripped of her powers. But no, we got to play the game to see. So, and here she is again, like the other two, with some Hasbro Overwatch figures. And finally, McFarlane Drift and Jazzwares Rabbit Raider. All right, guys, that is it. This was McFarlane Toys, Borderlands 2 and 3 action figures. Borderlands 2, Lilith and Psycho, and Borderlands 3, Tiny Tina. Our first look at a Borderlands 3 action figure. Awesome. I'm pretty happy with these. You know, you've come to expect a certain type of articulation or certain type of aesthetic or quality from a toy company. So for McFarlane Toys, I didn't expect the articulation given to these figures to work, because they're just not as articulated as their Fortnite line, which seems to be a different type of plastic. I would even go as far as to say a better type of plastic. These are still that kind of statuey type of McFarlane feel. I mean, you saw Tiny Tina falling apart, but you know, at the joints were soft enough to just plug back in. So they're awesome. I mean, look at how they all pop together. I'd say get them, display them, and don't forget to get Borderlands 3, which comes out Friday or Thursday night if you can't wait. I can't wait, but I'll still probably get it Friday and not play it till Saturday. Happy. So I'm happy. These are great. Again, I want more Psycho figures, different weapons, different accessories, cleaner mask. Psycho little person would be great. Berserkers, and of course more Vault Hunters, McFarlane. You know, I don't know if it's 2K keeping McFarlane from that, or McFarlane goes about and picks what looks interesting to him. Obviously Tiny Tina is interesting enough to do twice at this point. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe if you haven't. Click the bell, all the cliche stuff YouTubers say, and I will take a look at more video game toys, I'm sure, Marvel Legends, all that stuff. So thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next video.